This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
This is ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. I want to just say welcome you into the show. It is a $2 Tuesday. Still haven't figured out what we're paying $2 for. But, hey, it's a $2 Tuesday. I just like the name. It got a nice ring to it, T. So we're just going to roll with that. We want to thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we are free and available wherever you download your podcast. And wherever you download your podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Last night, I think, T, the concern level starting to rise just a little bit. I'm not all the way there, but I think I'm getting a little bit, I don't know about you, I'm getting a little bit close to that spot. We'll talk about that with the Braves and the Phillies last night. And also, the Falcons made some additions on both sides of the football. We'll talk about who will have the biggest impact for the Falcons for the 2022 season. And last but not least, and for the culture, T, you know we got to be special about this thing. My main man, The Rock, my favorite wrestler of all time, running the XFL, they have announced where they will be playing. We'll talk about all that and for the culture. But first, the Braves lose, T, to the Phillies last night, late in the 8th inning. 3-run home run given up by A.J. Minter. When I saw that ball go out the park, as soon as I saw him hit the ball, T, I knew that exactly where that bad boy was going. And it had a date with some random fan that was going to take it home a souvenir.
Right. Well, Stott had a home run, that 3-run home run. He also had a double in the game. He was the Braves killer last night. But
Right.
On the same token, it was a weird game all the way around because the 3 runs that the Braves got early were like on a wild pitch and then an error in the outfield. So you kind of were up 3-0, but it was kind of like a weird 3-0. And then, you come back and you go up 4-3, but then you let them come back. And this is
Right.
kind of that weird thing because the one thing A.J. Minter does well is he's not going to give up a home run to a lefty. And That was the first one in like maybe 200, I think it was 244 appearances that he had not given up that home run. So even though he's been a little unsteady lately, I think his ERA is now up above 5, whereas he started the month of July right around 2 or 3. It still is a bit of an anomaly because, again, he's not done it in all that time. The Braves have not lost back-to-back games in over a month. And sometimes when you gift somebody like the Phillies gifted them in the first inning, sometimes they take it back. And that's kind of what happened last night. But I, like you, I'm a little bit concerned only because just like the Braves were 10 and a half games behind the Mets, and they caught them, who's to say that the Phillies can't catch the Braves now being just 6 games behind them? So yes,
Right.
every game counts, especially a divisional game that you're supposed to win.
Right. And that's the key right there. They are supposed to beat the Phillies. They are a better team than the Phillies right now. And I think that when you get those type of performances, from a Max Fried, he didn't have his best stuff, but he was definitely sitting guys down last night. I think he ended up with 8 strikeouts in the game. So I think that's something no walks. That is the even more important
huge,
stat,
right?
Yes. That's huge. You're keeping guys off base and you're letting your defense rest, so to speak. When you send guys home, go back to the dugout with the head tucked between the tail. I think that's the thing you kind of have to pay attention to as to how the guys performing. So it was, like you said, it was some interesting things as far as like you said, weird and how the Braves scored their first runs. Johan Camargo with the error. I was like, man, is he throwing the game? I was like, well, keep doing it. I appreciate you for that. But it's just that's the thing that's the level of concern. I guess that's where my concern comes in is how they're scoring. They're not necessarily scoring because they're just going up to the plate and just swinging away and taking advantage of their matchups against that whatever pitcher it is. But they got runs on mistakes, and that's the thing that kind of makes me get a little feeling in my gut. I was like, all right, now, like, you guys aren't doing really exactly what you're supposed to do, but it's something that you got to keep your eye on as they move
Mhm.
forward and definitely try to get a win tonight. We'll talk
Yeah.
about next though. The Atlanta Hawks made a very interesting move. He's a fan favorite. We'll talk about that. But before we get there, tell the folks about Dave and what they got going on and how they have partnered with Locked On Sports Atlanta.
Yeah, so we keep it 100 here, and we've all been in a situation at some point in our lives when we were a little tight on cash. Maybe you could only afford to put a few gallons of gas in your tank, especially now, or maybe you had another baby shower to go to, or maybe you're invited to dinner and you kind of had to think before you could say yes or no. So that's where Dave can help. A friend of mine used to always say there is no stress like financial stress. Facts. So
Indeed.
Dave can help you get out of a pinch when you really need it. Now hindsight is 2020, and we can't change the past. Well, what if you could get a little help from your future self? Maybe you'd ask to borrow a little cash. Now you can with Dave. So Dave's the banking app that you can help get up to $500 for you instantly with extra cash. You can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out. There's no interest, no credit check, and millions of people have already downloaded the app. So if you're in a pinch, you need extra help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. So again, it's DAVE. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. And remember, your future you will thank you.
No doubt about it. Don't be shy. We like I said, like T said, we keep it real on the show, and we'll definitely, if you're in a pinch, Dave has definitely got your back. And we thought the Atlanta Hawks had Sharif Cooper's back but he's no longer
Yeah,
part of the team. T,
right,
I'm gonna take you back to July 22nd, which is about 4 days ago. You
right.
know, here's a tweet. Atlanta Hawks guard Sharif Cooper has signed his two-way qualifying offer for the 2022-23 season.
Right, right.
Yesterday, 24 hours ago, the Atlanta Hawks have waived guard Sharif Cooper. Now, mind you, I know the point guard position is kind of loaded, but we all
Sure.
thought that Sharif Cooper at least can be a guy that can relieve somebody on the back end
Mhm.
of that rotation. If
Sure.
you want to get some minutes off, if Trey wants to get some minutes off, or if DeJounte Murray needs some minutes off, he can kind of step in on the back end of that
Mhm.
rotation. But
Mhm.
it looks like Sharif Cooper is not going to be a part of the Atlanta Hawks team in 2022 at least.
Yeah, and it's so weird because the very thing that you just mentioned, all of those things were true and accurate on July 22nd.
Right,
Frank Kaminsky had already been signed to a quote unquote prove it deal. You
right.
already had a flooded, kind of a log jam at the 1-2, because really it's just Frank Kaminsky, Trey Young, and Sharif Cooper who are technically points, but
Mhm.
you have a plethora of shooting guards who can play the one or the two. So yeah, you got about seven folks in the room, but you already had seven when you made the announcement about his two-way contract. Also, you already knew what his numbers looked like. I believe 17 points per game in summer league last year, just four this year, and you knew he had a thumb injury. So Jarvis, I admit I can't read the tea leaves on this one. I cannot read the
Yeah.
tea leaves on this one, but I'm sure in the next couple of days we're going to find out more information about it. And like you said, it's really disappointing because Sharif is that guy. I had an opportunity to meet him right after draft night, and we're still cool to this day. Every time I see him, it's a hug, it's love. I had a
Mhm.
chance to meet his family, spoke to him one on one, had a couple of different interviews with him, and he really looked like at the end of the G League season last year, he looked like the floor general for the Skyhawks. He was
Right.
really that guy who was leading them along with the likes of Justin Tillman. But somehow it just was not translating enough in summer league. Like I think even before that thumb injury, because I don't think he necessarily went in with the thumb injury or that it was as severe as it was towards the end of summer league. He
Right.
just still didn't quite look like he had command of that team. And to your earlier point, if you're going to relieve Trey Young, if you're going to relieve DeJounte Murray, you need to look like the guy like a Lou Williams. You need to look like a Bogdan Bogdanovich. You need to look like there won't be any fall off when you get into
Mhm.
the game, because that's one of the things that was one of the challenges sometimes last year before the Hawks finally got on track.
Right.
Whoever was coming in for Trey when he sat for a couple minutes, literally the plus minus number, man, the minus number would just go up. So again, fan favorite right here from Atlanta, played right down the road in Auburn for a year. excitement around him. But now, hey, 29 other teams have an opportunity to pick him up. So we'll see what happens. But good luck to you, Reef. Great guy, and certainly comes from a basketball family. Sister Taya plays in the WNBA or played in the WNBA. So yeah, I hope he bounces back.
I'm sure he will, and I think that just to add to it and kind of put a little bow on it, I think Aaron Holiday probably was that, that backup plan. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if Sharif doesn't, if we don't see what we need to see from Sharif in Las Vegas in the summer league, which there were, he didn't quite do what they felt he should have, and I was like, okay, well, we got our third point guard, so to speak, ready to roll, from a veteran standpoint, like I said, former first round pick and everything. So you definitely, and from defensively too. I think that was a piece as well that really kind of may have had put the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Yeah, because
Cooper.
Kaminsky's offensive numbers are better than Aaron Holiday's, but to your point, Aaron Holiday is willing to play two-way and plays some pretty decent defense. And unfortunately, those numbers the math wasn't mathing for Sharif. So
no doubt about it. Holiday plays decent defense. I think Dean Pease wants to play decent defense in 2022. So there were a couple of additions that was added on the defensive side to kind of help him out with that. There are also a couple of additions on the offensive side. We'll talk about who will have the biggest impact in the 2022 season for the Atlanta Falcons. We'll talk about all that next right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. Don't go nowhere.